Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. 4 killed in separate incidents in St. Catherine. Under scrutiny, operations of the National Housing Trust under the political microscope. And later in sports, future of JFF General Secretary in limbo. I'm Kelisha Williams and here are the details. It's been a bloody start of the week in St. Catherine. This after gunmen went on a rampage, killing 4 men and injuring another in Spanish Town, St. Catherine Sunday night. We have more in this report. A friendly game of cards quickly turned into a bloodbath along Railway Lane in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. About 7:45 Sunday night, gunmen attacked a group of people gathered here.
Then come but police don't move in a private vehicle. We need marked vehicle if police are come. And we need them to come station down here, so.
Residents who did not wish to appear on camera told TVJ News that they actually believed the men were police officers, so no one moved when the vehicle approached them. It was not until 3 men exited the motor car and started spraying the groups with bullets that they realized that the intruders were criminals.
The main thing what we are asking the government to do, take the private vehicle them off of the road with the police them. We know a police them like they look a private vehicle and some, but we need for the. All right then, if the police them are going to drive a private vehicle, keep on the window down. Who don't want an AC in there, we are pay feet and me are pay tax seat. Who don't want AC that keep the window them down. Make we say a police, no, the plate white. No at all, we can't know when a police different from civilian.
4 people were shot during the attack. 3 of them died. 27-year-old Nicardo Moore, 24-year-old Kirk Barrett, and 23-year-old Horace Letman were later pronounced dead at hospital.
Then kill somebody who start up their business. A business people then kill, you know. Business people then kill.
We were told the gunmen continued their rampage minutes later. This time they went to Old Harbor Road near Ellerslie Gardens, where 34-year-old Desmond Bloomfield was shot and killed. Meanwhile, several spent casings were found on both scenes. The first shooting is suspected to be linked to lottery scam. No motive has been established for the Old Harbor Road shooting. The war of words between the government and the opposition about the management of the National Housing Trust (NHT) continues this afternoon. The opposition has been critical of how the government has handled the affairs of the trust, but 2 government representatives are hitting back.
Chief among the issues raised by the People's National Party is that the original mandate of the National Housing Trust has significantly changed, a point which has been repeatedly denied by the Holness administration. Speaking at a PNP conference last week, caretaker for Clarendon Central Zuleika Jess called for Prime Minister Andrew Holness to take his hands off the Housing Trust. But MP for North Central Clarendon Robert Morgan says that cannot happen, as there has never been so many benefits under the NHT.
Them not realize say, clean hands upon the NHT. I never heard any of them talk when the dirty hands were taking the money for the taxpayers of Jamaica where people could not get house.
Councillor for Montego Bay Northeast Charles Sinclair says the PNP has no right to be making any accusations, as he pointed to the Outer Many Attraction saga which rocked the island in 2014.
Outer Many, a facility which was losing money when it was in the hands of somebody connected to the PNP. And what it is that the PNP did with the housing trust money, $180 million was used to bail out a man out of a facility that him couldn't manage. It never got to ordinary people like who is sitting inside here to help them to acquire a house.
Mr. Sinclair says that purchase continues to be a burden on the NHT.
My research tells me that in 2019, at August 31, 2019, the NHT had to spend $290.2 million for a facility that is not giving any benefit to the people of Jamaica.
In the meantime, Mr. Morgan says the PNP deserves to be punished for the years of mismanagement of the country's affairs.
The PNP have a lot of crimes against the Jamaican population to answer. And the sentence for the PNP should not be 5 years. It should not be 10 years. It should not be 15 years or 20 years. I say to you, labor rights, the PNP deserve a political life sentence.
Both men were speaking in Cambridge, St. James on Sunday, where Javine Baker was announced as the JLP's standard bearer for the division. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Major developments are coming for Mandeville in Manchester. That announcement from Prime Minister Andrew Holness as he urged the municipal corporation to get better at town planning. As you hear in this report, it came after Mayor Donovan Mitchell appealed for Mr. Holness to pay more attention to the town. A chaos in Mandeville's town centre, a typical issue especially on weekends. Speaking at a groundbreaking ceremony in Bloomsfield, Manchester recently, Mayor of Mandeville Donovan Mitchell called for Prime Minister Andrew Holness to take action.
We have a traffic situation and you are the ultimate minister for roads and things. So we're pleading with you, and Rhoda is sitting beside you. She knows some of the plans we have. We need to get one of those ring roads around Mandeville.
Mr. Mitchell stressed that there is a clear indication that the population has overgrown the size of the town. In response, Prime Minister Andrew Holness pointed to the construction of the Williamsfield leg of Highway 2000. He said when the highway is completed, it should help with the traffic in Mandeville.
Going all the way to the south coast, going up into St. Elizabeth, going down into St. Elizabeth through Santa Cruz and connecting back into Montego Bay. So we do have that long-term plan for that road and a spur that would go around Mandeville.
As for the development in the town, Mr. Holness said change is coming.
Mandeville is a town with a special character. And, the people have their own personality, and we want to preserve it as much as possible. But the town is going to go through a rapid phase of construction and change. I would say to the parish council that you need to employ serious town planning resources to develop your master plan, and don't take the incremental view.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton is continuing his island-wide campaign tour in schools, tackling healthy eating habits among students. On his most recent visit to the Tatius Golding High School in St. Catherine, Dr. Tufton urged students to avoid eating certain types of foods that will affect their health.
The food that you eat, after a while it becomes habit, and you can become addicted to certain food. Sugar, for example, and a lot of it, after a while you're addicted to it, you want it every day. Salt, same thing. I don't want to even mention smoking, because none of you here are not supposed to smoke. You see, as a student, trying to be the best that you can be, you have to manage the things that you put in your body. Because your body is the temple.
Dr. Tufton also reminded them that nutrition policy in schools is coming soon. He's also encouraging parents to support it.
In-season fruits and vegetables, it is all right for them to eat sweet potato, much better than eat whole rice. I deal with the hospital system. 90% of the people in the hospital, young people, is because of the food that they eat. And if they had lived a particular way, do a little exercise, eat the food fresh and so on, it would be better off.
And it's now time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett is this afternoon insisting that the global inflation problem could hamper growth in the tourism sector. Speaking on the morning agenda on Power 106, Mr. Bartlett said while the country's tourism industry remains buoyant and stable, the impact of the global economic shock from the coronavirus pandemic is proving to be even more painful.
Previously, we've had problems in continents, we've had problems in countries, we've had problems in regions, but we've never had a total global embrace with a single shock and problem that affected everybody and, became even existential in its threat. So this recovery, we did not quite anticipate that it would be as rocky.
And it's now time for a look into the financial world. Here is Cody and Barrett with the Business Minute.
In the world of business, the Bank of Jamaica BOJ has been given the authority to issue central bank digital currency CBDC as legal tender locally with the Senate's passage of the Bank of Jamaica Amendment Act 2022 on Friday. The bill was passed to the House of Representatives on May 24. In light of the legislation's passage, the way has been paved for the BOJ to proceed with the national rollout of the CBDC. The pilot was undertaken between August and December 2021. And Elon Musk is threatening to walk away from his deal to buy Twitter. He says he asked the social media company to give him data on fake accounts, but Twitter hasn't done that yet. And Musk says that's a breach of the merger deal. Twitter says bots and fake accounts constitute less than 5% of its users, but Mr. Musk thinks it's much more, potentially as high as 90%. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
Time now for the top regional and international stories. Here's Sandy Williams.
In regional news, Bahamian authorities have confirmed that a woman was killed and others injured when a twin-engine aircraft with 7 people on board crashed in bushes near Deadman's Key Airport in Long Island on Sunday. Police Commissioner Paul Rowell said the woman succumbed to her injuries. Dead is Alethea Newbold, the mother of a 7-month-old infant. The commissioner said police have located the site using coordinates given and are assisting victims with evacuation for medical assistance with the help of U.S. Coast Guard helicopters. On the international scene, there were at least 10 mass shootings in the United States since Friday, following several back-to-back massacres in recent weeks. Police said several active shooters fired into a crowd Saturday night, killing at least 3 people and injuring 11 others. Then on Sunday morning in Chattanooga, Tennessee, 3 people were killed and at least 14 others injured near a downtown nightclub. Another shooting took place at a bar in Mesa, Arizona, leaving 2 people dead and 2 more injured. Also in Arizona, a strip mall shooting early Saturday in Phoenix left 1 person dead, a 14-year-old girl, and 8 others hurt. In Summerton, South Carolina, police said a drive-by shooting at a graduation party left 1 woman dead and 7 others injured, including 5 minors ages 12 to 17 years old. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your Midday Sports Report. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It's time for your Midday Sports. I'm Bernardo Brown. Now, the Executive Committee of the Jamaica Football Federation is now locked in a meeting following calls from head coach Paul Hall and the national senior men's team for General Secretary Dalton Wint to resign. Members of the Reggae Boys delegation returned to the island from Suriname this morning. Karen Madden was at the Norman Manley International Airport and filed this report.
Jamaica Football Federation President Michael Ricketts was among the delegation that traveled to Suriname, and following a leaked conversation in which he was heard agreeing with the players that his General Secretary Dalton Wint should resign, he confirmed that it's an issue which must be addressed urgently.
We will look at it this morning. The situation was untenable, to say the least, but like I've said, we will meet this morning and deal with it with some level of urgency, because we understand that this is the nation's business. So we just have to be very serious about what we do. And certainly by 11 o'clock we will meet and we'll do a press release right after.
And Ricketts acknowledged that head coach Paul Hall had tendered his resignation, citing his disappointment with the General Secretary.
The situation of the head coach is that he was just giving some solidarity to the players' requests. So that will be addressed today as well.
Meanwhile, senior member of the national football team, Damian Lowe, insisted that the players are fully focused on their next assignment.
That's an in-house matter. The players are focused on the game right now. That's not something we want to speak about. The federation is aware of everything that's going on. It's nothing new. I'm sure you guys are aware of some stuff also. But again, like the players just want to, get the 3 points tomorrow to get back to winning ways and get back on track in qualifying for the next round of the Nations League and the Gold Cup.
The Reggae Boys played out a 1-1 draw with Suriname on Saturday, with the return fixture set for Tuesday at 8 p.m. at the National Stadium. Karen Madden, TVJ Sports.
Thanks, Karen. And Waterhouse could move 4 points clear at the top of the Jamaica Premier League as they play Very United in one of 2 games at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex at 5 today. In the other game, Harbourview take on Montego Bay United at 7:30. Meanwhile, second place Dumbeholden FC once again dropped points during Sunday's round of games. Sandy Williams reports.
Arnett Gardens moved into the top 3 in the Jamaica Premier League after defeating Tivoli Gardens 3-1 in the West Kingston Derby on Sunday at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex. Arnett took the lead in the 5th minute through Kimani Arborn, but Tivoli were leveled when Rodica Wellington struck from the penalty spot in the 13th. The Junglists then went ahead again through Ronaldo Cephas in the 18th minute and extended that lead when Cephas returned for his second in minute 43. In the other game at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex, recently appointed coach Philip Williams had his first win since taking over at Portmore United as they clipped Mullines United 1-0. The lone goal of the game when Shai Smith scored in the 45th. In the other games on Sunday, Cavaliers secured their place in the playoff round after beating Mount Pleasant Academy 3-1 at Drax Hall, while Waterhouse are now just 2 wins away from confirming top spot in the league after second place Dumbeholden FC were beaten 3-1 by Humberland at Effortville. Sandy Williams for TVJ Sports.
Athletics as Olympic finalist Brittany Anderson clocked a season's best at 12.51 seconds to win the women's 100-meter hurdles at the World Continental Tour Gold Stop in Hengelo this morning. Anderson, the 2018 World Under-18 champion, finished ahead of the American pair of Nia Ali 12.69 seconds and Tonya Marshall 12.70 seconds. Jamaica had another win at the meet as Johan Blake clocked 10.11 seconds to take the men's 100 meters. Reigning national champion Taekwondo Tracy was 6th in 10.41 seconds. Former Calabar High School standout Christopher Taylor had to settle for second in the men's 400 meters despite running a season's best 45.45 seconds. The event was won by American Vernon Norwood in 45.28 seconds. Sprint hurdler Damian Thomas did not finish in the men's 110-meter hurdles. And finally, Steph Curry scored 29 points as the Golden State Warriors beat the Boston Celtics 107-88 in Game 2 of the NBA Finals last evening. Victory sees the 6-time NBA champions level the best-of-7 series at 1-1. Curry scored 5 three-pointers as well as making 6 rebounds and 4 assists as the Warriors dominated the second half in San Francisco. Game 3 is on Wednesday in Boston. And that's it for your Midday Sports Report. Kalisha is back to you.
Thanks, Bernardo. And that's the Midday News. I'm Kalisha Williams. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.